from a political analysis standpoint, I think we can say the momentum here has changed significantly, right?
Well, it has. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. The shiny new thing is always going to be what gets the attention. Right now, Kamala Harris is riding high because she's replaced Joe Biden. She's kind of given the Democrats a sense of hope and optimism, which in itself is rather tragic if you think about it. They had a candidate that they deep down know wasn't able to go the distance, but they kept telling everybody he was at the top of his game. Well, the debate kind of changed that. They got rid of him, staged a very undemocratic coup d'etat, got him out, put her in the place, and yeah, she's going to do well, probably through the convention. But then it gets down to issues, and that's where it's going to get tough. For Labor Day on is where this thing takes shape, and I think, let me give an example. This week we've had this big debate. Was she the border czar or was she not? Well, she clearly was, and repeated people in the press acknowledged that a few years ago. Now they come back and say, oh, no, we never said it. But the tape doesn't lie. Here's the real question, though. Why would she run from the title? Mayorkas, Biden, Harris, Karine Jean-Pierre, they all have said the border is secure. They've done a great job there. If they've done a great job, wouldn't she want to embrace the title of border czar? They've run from it like a scalded dog, and the only reason you do that is because you don't want people thinking you're responsible for the mess down there. So you can't have it both ways, and that's where it's going to start getting real when it gets to policy issues and what the record is.
Well, part of the person who's going to prosecute the policy issues that you just laid out, and I think you make a great point about whether she was or was not the border czar, maybe academic in terms of the title. The results speak for themselves. That's a little later in the show. But the person who's going to prosecute that is Donald Trump. He is the guy who's running for president if it comes to talking about policy. For the past 3 weeks after the debate and into the convention, he was a totally disciplined and different candidate. After the convention, and especially now, he was a lot more reminiscent of 2016. When you debated him, here's the clip.
Not only are we the A-team, we even have our own Mr. T, who doesn't mind saying about others, you're a fool. And I'm delighted to be here with all of these guys and would put any of them in an administration that I led.
Those were the days, right? But I guess the theme here is the Donald Trump of 2016 didn't talk about policy. The Donald Trump of 2020 didn't talk about policy. The only guy who talked about policy was the guy for about the past 4 weeks who was really disciplined and didn't make the mistakes he's making now.
Well, I'm not sure I would say he's making a mistake. You got to remember that Donald Trump is a tour de force. He's unlike anybody that's ever run for office in this country before. He defies all levels of political gravity. All of us who were on the stage with him would think, well, he can't get away with saying that. But he did, and he obliterated every one of us because he's connecting not to the political class and not to the donor class. He's connecting with the working class in a way that very few politicians ever have in history. That's his bread and butter, and he's great at it. And on the debate stage, I don't worry because, quite frankly, he's going to dominate any stage he's on. That's one of the characteristics that make him Donald Trump. And so, you know, when people say, oh, can he handle the debate? Oh, yeah, he'll be fine. Don't worry about it. He'll be Donald Trump.
Hold on. You say he just dominated every stage that he's ever been on. He didn't dominate the stage a month and a half ago or a month ago. That's why he did so well. He actually held back and let Joe Biden have as much rope as he wanted. He did dominate the stage in 2020. It was a disaster when he kept interrupting Joe Biden. 2016 with Hillary Clinton, you could argue it was a draw. Kamala Harris, I would say, is a better debater than either of them. We'll take a look at her early October of 2020 with Mike Pence. Take a listen.
The vice president said, when asked, well, why didn't y'all tell anybody? He said, because the president wanted people to remain calm.
Well, let's get
no, but Susan, this is important.
Susan,
I want to add, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I'm
speaking. Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000 a year.
He said he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well, wait.
I'm speaking.
What's going to happen when she does that to Donald Trump?
Probably won't go well for her.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.